Hey, it's Gabe with API Nation. Today I'm going to show you how you can sync your iPhone contacts with OneSuite so that all those contacts you have in your iPhone, all the contacts you have in OneSuite, they can be synced up. You don't have to manage these. You don't have to import, export, download, upload, none of that. The contacts are exactly where you want them at all times. Let me show you how to set this up. It's super easy. First thing you're going to do is go to apination.com and click on Start Syncing. Once you're there, you're going to see a ton of different apps, marketing apps, productivity apps, etc. I'm going to scroll on down till I get to OneSuite. It's going to be under there it is, OneSuite. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to see all the apps I can sync with OneSuite. So if you're using any of these other apps, it's a ton of different apps you can automate with OneSuite. If you're using any of them, go ahead and click on those and set up automations for those as well. Today we're doing iPhone, so I'm going to click on that. And you can see the syncs available are sending contacts from my phone to OneSuite and from OneSuite to my phone. I'm going to set up both of them, so I'm going to start with this. And if I set up both, it's going to create a two-way sync so that anytime I add a contact to either app, it'll get shared with the other app. Let's start with the phone to OneSuite. So the first step is to sign into your API Nation account. If you don't have one, just click here. You can create one. Or you can sign in with your Google account. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Once you sign into your API Nation account, now we're just going to connect both apps. So all you have to do to connect the apps, click the big connect button. It's going to say, all right, you need your Apple ID for your iPhone contacts and a password. So I'm going to put in my Apple ID and then my password, but it's not a normal password. It's not my Apple ID password. It's not my iCloud password. This is an app-specific password. It's a little bit different. You're going to go to appleid.apple.com, sign in. Once you're signed in, you'll see there's a few options here. We're going to come on down here to app-specific passwords and click on that. And I'm going to generate an app-specific password. It's asking me, what do I want to name this? And you can name this API Nation. You can name this MoxieWorks. Totally up to you. I'm going to call this one API Nation and hit create. There we go. You can see I now have an app-specific password, and I need to make sure to grab this before I click the done button. So I'm going to highlight this whole thing, hit Control-C to copy it, go back to API Nation, and hit Control-V to paste it in there, and hit connect. And then you're going to do a similar thing with OneSuite. Hit connect. It's going to ask you for your OneSuite username, your OneSuite user password, and your OneSuite email address. And also a label. And the label is just in case you're setting up multiple connections to OneSuite. Maybe you're setting up for a bunch of agents. You can name each connection after the agent. But for most of us, we're just setting it up for ourselves, so you can just name it after yourself. So I'm going to fill out the username, password, and email, and then I'm going to hit connect. Once I filled that out and hit the connect button, I'm going to end up on this screen. Very simple. Do I want to sync all contacts on first run? Do I want to send everybody from my iPhone into OneSuite right now? I check that box if I do. If I'm thinking, you know what, I just want to start adding people from now on, just uncheck the box and it's only going to do it from now on. I'm going to check the box because I want to do all my existing contacts and any future contacts. I'm going to hit subscribe and it's going to create the sync. It's not yet active yet. I just got to hit this button to activate it, but I want to show you a couple things first. First, there is a filter here. So if you want, you can filter people out from your iPhone contacts and only send in specific people. For example, maybe the only people I want for my iPhone are people who in the notes section of the contact, I've written CRM. That's all I have to do. Say notes contains CRM. If it does, it's going to sync it into OneSuite. So I could do that, or maybe I only want people who are part of, this zip code. I could do that. Totally up to you. In most cases, though, people are trying to get everybody from their iPhone contacts into OneSuite, so I'm just going to clear out that filter. Finally, I'm going to come down here. You can see we do most of the mapping for you. We're sending our email to that login name, first name to first name, last name to last name, phone to phone. If you want to add anything else, for example, this source URL, you can go ahead and write it in. So I'm just going to say, this is coming from my iPhone. I'll use that as my source URL. This looks good. I'm going to hit activate this sync. All right, so it's now sending contacts from my iPhone to OneSuite. Let's set up the second half of this to go from OneSuite back to my iPhone. So I'm going to click this OneSuite logo. It's just going to take me back to all the OneSuite syncs available. And I'm going to scroll on down to the iPhone logo again. So I'm just going through that same process, clicking on OneSuite, clicking on iPhone. But this time we're using this sync, OneSuite to the iPhone. Once I click on it, you can see the connection is still there, so I can just use that. I don't have to reconnect these apps. They're already saved. I'll use these same connections. Again, do I want to sync all contacts on first run? Absolutely. I'll hit subscribe. And then finally, we're on our last page. If I want to filter, I can. If I want to double check any of the mapping here, I absolutely can. This all looks pretty good to me. I am going to throw an email here in my email area, just to be sure. Email address. Looks good. I'm going to go to the top and activate this sync. So there we go. If I click on my syncs, I now have 2 syncs running, going from my phone to OneSuite, and also going from OneSuite to my phone. And that's it. Now I don't have to manage my contacts. It just automatically happens whenever I add a contact to either of those apps. It gets synced to the other app. I don't have to import, export, download, upload, no copying and pasting. My life is a lot easier and I can focus on the things I like doing, like creating more deals. If you have any questions or need any assistance setting up this sync, give us a phone call, shoot us an email. We're API Nation and we're connecting the world's applications.